Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one I have a special edition for you. GWEN. Not actually that special because in high elo Korea, high elo EU West like this one, you are seeing a lot of GWEN jungle. Now, some people like pros are trying Ghost, some are trying Ignite, but for a champion that was supposedly not meant to have that much mobility, she has it. E really is a strong thing. You've got healing, you've got true damage, you've got slows, we got bonus resistances, we've got, you know, like a cage that goes around us and makes every fight UFC, and early ward as normal. You also have this passive here which gives you sustain, so pretty much everything she needs to be an irritating piece of champion. Now, in this game, actually, I decided I wanted something that was simultaneously you know, showing off the strengths of the champion and what they can do in the jungle, but also something that really isn't just Giga Snowball GG, it's all over by 15. So in this game we have an immense comeback performance by the GWEN. This is very much a strong carry performance. Also what to do when you find yourselves in these games and things don't always go your way, because the reality is when you play an off-meta jungler, kind of off-meta jungler, E through the wall there, you do have certain difficulties navigating the meta in terms of, you know, your Xin Chaos and your Lee Sins and maybe even your Dianas, and your laners don't always know how to play around it because they don't see it that much. However, if you are a scaler, if you're a hyper carry, if you are that kind of jungler that just needs to kind of survive and get through the tough phases, then this is hopefully a good video for you. Kind of like a Fiddlesticks in that sense. However, with a lot more true damage and that Q going down to like 2 seconds or some such as you scale it up. 3.5, and then of course with ability haste easily below 3 seconds. Starts on the red side. Snippy. Lee Sin goes to probe the Raptor Pit, considering that's pretty much a standard clear here. And then we go on down to our blue side. Diana started on the red side, so if you're against a jungler that still enjoys those full clears, and you're playing something like a GWEN, good ping here, we anticipate that the Diana's on the side of the map. Set should be aware of this, whether or not he does anything about it's a separate issue. We also have to understand that we have risky invades. Now, here's something, now I was going to talk about this, so this really is as standard for a 3-camp gank. Now, we saw this a lot in Season 9. She did a red side into a gank here. This is something I'm seeing significantly more often. When you have a Galio, even if it's against the Leona, you have enough CC to really easily guarantee yourself a kill, even for something like Diana that typically will look for a full clear or a 5-camp. Now, I've seen this a lot in coaching. I've seen this in high elo, in the master tier level coaching, which we do, and then we've also seen it in some platinum and gold, where people are really looking to accentuate the tempo advantage that they can gain versus other junglers. So junglers might still be on the sort of 5-6 camp clear mode as GWEN is, right? And of course you get a little low. So we can punish this with 4 camp invades, or you can punish this by saying, well, I know the GWEN or X jungler is going to be doing a full clear, and then I can try and make things happen. Now, GWEN would have noticed this, so this sort of is a little bit nerve-wracking. She should be cautious here. This is actually kind of dangerous. Yeah, there you go. Diana realizes that she started top side and that she's going to go and do this full clear, but obviously you got to track the enemy bottom lane showing up, so. Diana does what she can, and now goes to the mid lane. But GWEN is right there for a really juicy counter gank. Karma has no mana though, we have to be very cautious. Very cautious indeed, my friends. Galio's rotated up, and Diana's clearly going across mid lane, using this pathing to get to this crab. Top lane has Prior, which means GWEN technically has Prior. She can set a trap if she wants. The Diana here can basically say, you know what, I got a crab, I got 2 kills, let me defend my blue side. So we do the crab, you see Karma TP's in here. This is a great roam by the Galio in theory, but you know that the Diana had to default to a blue side, and you know that the GWEN had Prior on that crab and can rotate first. So the Ignite ticks through. That equals a dead Lee Sin. Thank you, GWEN. Ignite coming in very useful. The set uses his Prior to roam down. That's a level 2 Galio. Leona responds with a roam. That's a double kill for the jungle. So both junglers using the map perfectly to get advantages. Now, the Diana most likely can look to do a blue Gromp Wolves, which she should be spotted here. This is great information for the GWEN. She knows now. Let me go do my Krugs, wrap this Wolf's Gromp. She can look to do some action. And then the Diana can obviously probably sequence fall down. And then reset herself, so it shouldn't be anything too adventurous on that side. We see the Lee Sin roaming from the mid lane down to the bottom lane, and this is something when you are playing GWEN in the jungle, yeah, you are a really good skirmisher. Most of them people give credit for. This is good information, thank you, Liana. but we are looking to scale, you know? You don't want to do anything that compromises the integrity of your exponential growth, because we want to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and really keep that slope increasing ever so until you can 1v9 every fight. Look for opportunities, obviously, of course, if you see roaming supports or junglers or whatnot, react, make plays. But the Q already, as you can see, sorry, that's the Grom's profile. As you can see, the Q, you know, you get more stacks, more snippies per stack, so that's going to start to add up very quickly for your clearings as well. We have the leeching layer already built. We have here set top side. He's level 5. The Dyna's rotating there. Obviously, that makes perfect sense. That should be a free dragon. And when you're hyperscaling jungle, please look for these free dragons. Please look for the free dragons. They need to be secured, especially when you have a more prototypical jungler, for this meta at least, somewhere else. Something that people don't always do, you know? I'm doing some coaching and people are not doing it. Guide your ADC back to lane. In this case, if your Leona doesn't want to reset, you can guide them back. You walk back with them. If the ADC checks, you kill them, but they're resetting as well. So for us, there's no issue. Now, you could look to go on a cheeky red buff invade, or you could look to counter gank the Diana. Or we could look to gank mid lane. Let's see what she does do. Raptors have respawned. This is the 3rd tier. Hello. Anticipated. Stunned. Flash. Ult used. We have the E to get out if we need to. That kick actually kind of saved her a little bit, no? Yeah. You can only move the W once. If you leave it, it will move with you, but you can also, you know, use your E and it will move subsequently when you recast it, but not more than that. So, plan your fight area accordingly. Set the octagon stage, but that's solid. We'll take that. We can reset here. Diana's seen on the bottom side of the map, and we're going to full clear again. Bottom lane does stuff. At this point, you want to spam ping him, because we know Diana should be down there. And they actually use their brains and they look to be resetting. We take those. That's a victory. You know, that's just winning at life. 2-0-0, 4 kills in the game. We're going to keep sequencing. Now, this is the thing about hyper carries. You're going to say, well, isn't there something more to it? It's about map movements. It's about taking the fights that make sense. And it's about making sure your farm CSPM is kept up as high as possible. Because if you're not doing that, you're not scaling, right? The high risk of perma ganking isn't something we really want. And she does wolves into Grump here, just to make sure you can, 1, set up a better sequencing pattern for the next time, and 2, we're being kind in giving the buff to the karma. Because she's going to speed us up. You would have seen the runes. We do have approach velocity. They don't really talk about them, but no real need to. Conqueror is everywhere at the moment still. We can dive bottom lane here. Renekton is TPing in to anticipate and help this play. That's, you know, enough to completely pull them off. That is enough to, you know, top lane has no impact, by the way. He just stopped a dive. Now, were they going to go for it anyway without a wave? Unlikely. But, so anyway. Counter jungle if you can. You're going to lose the Herald, which you do. Diana secures that, obviously, your bottom side. And we can reset again. Now, I would be concerned that Diana's going to look to do something top lane here. But we're not looking to flirt with high risk, sit in the bush, do nothings. We're looking for the fights. And look, you know, this is now going to start to build up a little more. Diana, we would anticipate, is looking to do something topside. You can see the pings coming through from the enemy team, but Gwen doesn't know for sure. And you have to assess the matchup. She's 4-0-0, the Diana, right? She has managed to clean up kills, and we didn't look at it, but the set's 0-3-1 for a reason, you know? Diana did more things after those first lane ganks. So she is fed also. What's the gold gap? 800 gold, not that bad. Not that bad at all. So you just go about your business. This is it. You want to scale and hyper carry? Sometimes, and I play like this with Zyra sometimes, I'm just looking at the map looking for these plays. Diana, nice hold there actually. She kind of went away for a bit and then comes back. You saw the expectation. Maybe we're going to dive top lane, maybe not. Gwen has to sort of respect the fact that it might happen, but if it doesn't happen within a reasonable time frame, carry on sequencing. This is okay to give. The Diana now 5-0-0, that's going to happen. If you're against an early game jungler, not that Diana really is, but she could be, that's going to happen. So make sure you do have smite for the dragon. Let's go take that. Easily soloable, as you can see. Remember, this is the hyper carry playstyle. You're not looking to... another TP burned. Diana's collapsing from top side. Try and finish this. I think you just have to finish this. Good. Good. Karma is doing work. Leon is there. GWEN just says bye. I mean, you don't want to fight. You're losing the game by a substantial amount of gold at this point. You don't want to fight. The GWEN is completely correct. Let me burn the dragon and get the hell out, you know? But if they overcommit here, let's see. If they overcommit here, we can do something, maybe. Speeder from the Karma. We do have shields as well. Forces the flash there. The Renekton goes super deep. He kills the Ezreal. But we can build up our snippies. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. The W moves. Now it's expired. We have an E up plus a speed up. Burn a flash there. Q is up again. Wait for stacks. Or don't wait for stacks if you don't need it, obviously. You don't always need 4 stacks. Just remember that. Game changing. Absolutely game changing. That's this kind of stuff you're looking to do. And that is a beautiful game changing jungling just by being a carry champion that is scaling. Now obviously we give a shutdown and we die, but I'll take that. I'll take that if they're all dying. It gives our Israel time to think about his life sins because he's committed a fair amount at this point in the game. Just to hold on. This is important. Instead of just floating topside and narcissistically doing the full clear again, is it narcissistically? I guess there's a degree of it. I will carry. That's it. You can always swap now. Because there's no real objective and you're looking to sort of move things around, both towers are gone here. We need to defend this. With Virkayu killing the Karma bottom lane, we can kind of look to maybe secure that and do something to shadow mid lane, but without the Karma, you don't actually make too many plays until she's up again. She does have TP, but the GWEN is intentionally rotating down here to swap the predictability of her sequencing. Also, there's a neutral crab. And now, because of the timing, she'll have the Grump up, slope up, and that of course changes based upon the fact that the next objective is most likely going to be that next Herald, which is what we want. We want it. You're going to lose the blue, but Karma can solo that. If they invade your jungle, defend it. Ward it here. Please clear. Thank you. We did talk about that very briefly, but she consumes the stacks and slips again for each of the ammo consumed, but don't hold 4 stacks and lose kills, you know, like what? Balanced. Very balanced. Actually, you know, in the strictest sense, right, have said she's balanced, but that's just crazy. That's just absolutely crazy. The true damage and the 1,000 cuts healing from it also, I mean, that applies it and the ult applies it, so the W is tough. I mean, honestly, maybe if you're gonna nerf something, the fact that she can become so tanky within that mist is a little bit of a problem. The mobility issue, I don't think anyone is too concerned about it, you know? No one's really worried about the fact that she can go mobile and not take a flash. I mean, there is an inherent downside. The cooldown isn't giga low either. You know, it's 9 seconds, but it does give her an attack speed boost also, so. Yeah, well, there you go. Great team fight. The Diana went in, got a double kill. The GWEN responded in kind, gets a triple. And now you are down a little less gold than you were a second ago. And I think this is a... I'm worried that there might be someone looking to do this. Okay. Diana obviously got the Herald before. So, there was no... Wait a second, there's a fight. There's a fight afoot. This is what happens when you go splitting. This is what happens when you go split pushing. Yes, you want to kind of catch this wave and deal with it, but because of the nature of the fight and the fact that they respawned a little sooner and you have to back out, and you've got set bottom side with no TP, this Herald being up means you cannot take it. So you obviously you're gonna leech a wave here, haha. The problem with that is, as soon as you show and your bottom lane mispositions, they're gonna pull the trigger because you are not there, because the set is not there. So it's not your fault that they die. They should play with a bit more cop, but you aren't there, so they're gonna pull that trigger because of it, and because they saw you. There's always a risk when split pushing, and it's a risk when you don't have TP. That's why the set rotated. You know, he didn't have TP, so he rotated as soon as he saw that situation develop, but they don't really get anything for the Herald. Not really that useful. We do have a dragon spawning, so if possible, right, when you're playing a hyperscaler, if you can secure 2 early dragons, that buys you a lot of statistics and time to get into the late game. Shadowing here, this is important. This little fog trick, I need to talk about this more because so many high-elo junglers are doing this. You saw it in the main channel video last week. The Diana kind of, oh no, wait, that hasn't come out yet. An enemy jungler did something using the fog of war. It was really, really neat. So we need to make sure we kind of pay attention to that. So she sneaks through, okay, using that little fog of war. And obviously, you didn't hear anything about another video coming out on the main channel. You don't know anything what I'm talking about. But use those tricks, guys. Float. Watch the mini wave. It affects your vision control. If the top lane is splitting here, this is great for Ashe. There's nothing you can do to match, but you can push up a little bit, force him to decompress down. They don't have a wave, you don't have a wave, so you can actually use vision control to try and chase down the top laner. Let's see. We have E used, but nothing up, so we can pull back. Diana's actually going to go straight for the dragon, so I don't agree with... Let's let this develop. Diana dies, Gallery tried to save her and dies anyway. I don't agree with the overchase to give up the dragon, you know, we're watching it, you don't want to blindly lose an objective, especially if the Diana is inting for it. Because you push the Renekton down enough, rotate so that if she does start the dragon, you just kill her. We give them one for free, but she dies for it. We can push the wave now. Okay, you are at the point, 2 itemization, core plus 9 stacks in your Dark Seal. This means it's time to do business. You now have business to do, you have to carry the game. You have to start rotating to all the fights that are available and using your lead, like this one. You see a dead ADC, we rotate. And then you just kill everyone because you're Gwen. You can champion diff them, 2001 years experience. You've got a karma to give you shields. You keep spamming your Q. You can use your ult 1,000 times, slow, use it again, keep getting more damage. E for maximum range Q. If it's not there, speed out with the karma. That's it. The champion, when fed, is so difficult to deal with. The 1,000 cuts passive makes such a big difference when you're in those fights. Obviously, I like this a lot. Don't go back farming. Beautiful. I love this a lot. Don't go back farming here. Wait in the bush. Let them push. Punish them. It was the same thing in a lot of videos I cover with high elo. They kind of... The laners know that there's an inherent risk to push up and take farm. But the junglers don't... You see this difference? The junglers don't decompress and say, well, I did a great job. I'm going to farm now. They wait, they kill, and then they steal their jungle. And if they can force a fight that's advantageous numbers-wise, Lee Sin's there, Ezreal's mid lane, then you do so, you know? And as soon as it becomes a case of let's reset, we leave. You don't overstay, okay? Gwen is immune. The W's active and now it's not. Lee Sin tried to do stuff, nothing happened. Set is dive in the back line, and you can do this with Gwen as well. You can follow your engage. Taunt works, that's sad. Set, my boy. Level 12, yeah. Okay, this is going very deep. Gwen's got mid lane. She was actually using her ult again. She basically hits that nicely. That's why the first proc on those ults is very important, because you can slow it. Now, if everyone down there is... They're all dead. Baron. Do you remember when Baron used to be difficult? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Because I remember when it was difficult. It's much easier now. Look at this. You just keep snipping and stacking and healing, and snipping and stacking and healing. Taking over. 13, 1, 3. 10 stacks, didn't go for the measures, went for the Cosmic Drive. Obviously, the bonus movement speed is absolutely huge in something like when you don't have flash, you need to make sure your E and your speed ups, your approach velocity, your karma, special attach item only sometimes available. Watch. Just watch. You see what I'm saying? E-mobility, now on a 5.8 second cooldown, right? Thanks to ability haste. Q, now on a 2.26, thanks to our juicy ability haste. W on 13 seconds. That's still quite high. And the ult is 64 seconds. She can rotate so quickly in a fight now that with her W up, it's just such a pain to deal with, and you really need to have strong I don't know what that was. You really need to have strong cohesion as a team comp to really try and burst her down, you know? And that CC does go a long way, but then she's got the W. This should be Dragon Soul. 100% this should be Soul. And that fight was a little bit overzealous at the top lane, but if you are fed and you are hyper carry, you got to know your damage limitations. That first R misses, we hit the second one, should be able to hit the third one as well. Whoa! You see that? That's misdirected intent. This is something that's very crucial and separates good players from your average player. Yes, the first one misses here, okay? To get that initial slow, but she uses the E, and then goes onto the Renekton, uses the second R proc onto the Varus, and now it's still focusing the Renekton, but it's going to swap that last one onto the Varus with the Ezreal. So she's dealing with one and using skill shots in the other. And that's so crucial in team fights, because a lot of you will only use all your spells on one champion all the time, and you let people get away. Whereas if you can focus on someone with a melee range, use your Q on them, and gap close with your E, and obviously use the W as you need to, that second and third R proc as a skill shot can just go the other direction and do what it needs to do in terms of ridiculous damage. What's the most damage it can do here now? The 5 Fire Needles deal 429 damage, so that adds up. That adds up. Make sure you're thinking about that with your skill shots. But honestly, there's not much jungling deviation with how you play Gwen at this stage. Obviously, a little less split pushing because we don't have the TP Ignite. But honestly, I think that's a good thing because it puts you in a position where you can actually have to think about going to those fights. But it's not very exciting in terms of scaling. I'll give you that one. And they coming back from this, look at this. It's all here. It's all here originally. We've got the W up now. We can use our R. Galio's going to ult back in. We avoid the knock-up. Now we can snip, snip, snip. We've got true damage, 1,000 cuts passive applied. That R was nice hit onto the Lee Sin. You deal with the Diana first. E-hop should be up again. You have Karma speed up. She's going to stun the Lee Sin before he goes away. Use your E. Galio taunts you. Doesn't matter. E and Q are up available again. Low cooldowns. True damage. Healing. Attack speed steroid. Added resistances that block out everyone outside of its radius. And an R that slows and adds up to damage as you hit it. Coupled with Omnivamp from Riftmaker. Do you need more in a jungler? I didn't realize. I mean, obviously, a good early game jungler will have impact and be able to sort of deal with you to a degree, especially if you're farming like that. And the Diana technically should have. But the Gwen got the dragons. You know, that's the risk of losing that top crab and then focusing top lane so much. You know, I mean, what did the Renekton possibly do? I mean, the Ezreal's an Ezreal, you got a Leona and a Karma to speed you up and CC with you. Look at this, they're gonna try again. Doesn't matter. You can E out of a skill shot range. Use your W and just fight within the borders. Move it forward if you need to. That R missed, but doesn't matter, because you have 1,000 cuts on your Q, basically. Your Q is just 1,000 snips. That's what it feels like. Take it, Lee Sin. No. They had enough. This champion is not okay. I mean, I know Riot said she's balanced. It's not okay, man. Like, 21-4, and all of it was just the Gwen controlling it. And this is when the game turned around. Don't usually do this. But this is where the game really turned around. I mean, they're down 4,000 or 5,000 gold around this phase. And she just goes in and uses the champion kit and uses her lead with her itemization to change the nature of it. And Fiddlesticks plays, Karthus plays, anyone who hyperscales. You want to be someone that kind of chills the early game. This is the moment you really have to use and use and abuse. And any other rhyming word you can think of, because you get shutdowns, you get tower pressure, it relieves the stress on your team, and you get to decompress waves, and that sets up the rest of the game, you know? Sets up the rest of the game. So, there you have it. Not too, stimulating in the mind in terms of raw strategy. Obviously, a lot more full clearing and getting to the late game. This as well is something important, but this is not unique to Gwen. This was just used to. This is for everyone, any jungler that's trying to carry a game. Set these traps, steal their stuff, position yourself nicely. But there you have it. Hope you enjoyed Gwen Jungle. My schedule is a little ruined this week because of the patch coming a day later. So we will have Graves, Ivan, all the buffs, a few other surprise champions as well. Rengar's getting a new skin soon, so we might have to do that as well. A lot of good stuff coming in the next month. Please do like, share, and comment if you enjoyed it and learned something. Sorry if it was a bit messy and a bit scrambly. I tried to do my best in this one. My brain's a little fried at the moment, so I'll see you all in the next video. GWEN, huh?